Perrin, what are you thinking right now?
First, I want to address a question. Chat Gavin Cleary is asking, can I explain what I meant by how it will affect outside the US? So imagine Twitter for a second, and suddenly Section 230 doesn't exist. Twitter does not make a lot of money. Twitter would cave and be completely destroyed as a platform. They would not be able to exist because they don't have the legal resources to fight lawsuits for every obnoxious thing that everyone says on the internet, on Twitter, every single day. So they would actually just cease to exist as a platform. Why does this affect you? Because it affects the legitimacy of the platforms themselves that exist as business entities within the United States. So platforms that aren't in the United States, they wouldn't be encompassed by this law. But any of the major content platforms that are in the United States, this would affect those platforms. Therefore, they would affect you in that way. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, etc.
Even TikTok with the acquisition, like Instagram, all of them, WhatsApp, now that it's been acquired by Facebook, all of those are governed by US entities and US law because they're based here in the United States from a legal standpoint. So and let's be honest, most of the internet is based here in the United States. And so when lawmakers make laws about the internet, it controls basically the entire world's internet with the exception of China, because China has created their own separate internet that their government controls. So that's the stakes here. When we're talking about US law, it's actually going to impact the same Facebook that's in Australia, the same YouTube that's in Europe, the same TikTok that's in Africa. It's going to control everything. And if these companies can't effectively operate in the United States, then they won't be able to operate in these other countries as well because they're a legal entity here. That's why this impacts the entire world. So Perrin, what do you think is a good scenario? I know that we're all upset about social platforms maybe not cracking down on hate speech or different negative elements on socials that's been driving this conversation. So what's a good scenario here that actually maybe cleans things up a little bit without crushing our free internet that we have right now?
You know, I think there are some people who think they look at regulation is bad. If we have to assume that regulation is going to happen, and because it sounds like both parties actually want some sort of regulation here. They want to do something to rein in big tech. So what can be done here that would work? You know, right now we clearly have a hate speech problem, at least in the United States. And this could be a problem throughout the rest of the world too. It could propagate. It's one of the growing pains of the internet, of having this platform that literally has infinite amounts of information at any sort of time. And it can be good information, it can be bad, it can be whatever. You could actually have good regulation if you set up Section 230 to allow for everything except for hate speech. So that if there is hate speech on a platform, that company could be legally liable for that hate speech. This would force them to have some sort of system to moderate and clean it up. So at least if they were to have a system when legal, claims come in, when lawsuits come in versus it, they could say, hey, we've got a system, that appeared on our platform for X number of minutes before it was removed by our system. They would have some checks and balances, and they would be forced, in order to exist as a company, they would be forced to address that issue. And without forcing companies to address that issue, we've seen what's happened. We've been having to live through it for the past 4 to 5 to 7 years of just massive amounts of fake stuff on the internet, lots of hateful stuff, unregulated. No one's doing anything about it. They're just now starting to do stuff about it, but nothing was forcing them to do so, other than it started to become bad for their brands. So that could be a way to do it. I don't know if that necessarily work out 100%, but that's one way in which you could look at maybe changing the legislation to kind of put some more pressure on these content platforms to clean up their act and to help police it a little more. And that way it's not censoring free speech necessarily, it's removing hateful speech, which should not be there to begin with realistically, and we really don't need it. So that's one way I could see it happening. That's one way. I think that at least on the Democrat side, and the progressives and the US have said that they could change the law. That's one idea that's been thrown out there. But I think a lot more needs to be discussed. It's something that, you really have to think it through and what the ramifications would be. And do we even really need that now? With some of the way we're seeing some things now, if you look and see if a brand realizes that hate speech, and violent speech, and there are systems already on every platform to address that. They're just not rigorous enough. But now they're becoming more and more rigorous because it's becoming bad for their brand. So in a capitalistic society, is it almost self-regulating itself after a while, after all is said and done? I don't really know. I mean, that's one way I could see it working out. I mean, if you certainly can't completely remove it. That would actually destroy everything.
If the internet would be gonzo if you completely removed it. So Trump's assertion that we should completely repeal Section 230, if that becomes something that you guys see in is a prevailing opinion amongst politicians, I encourage you to contact all the congressmen and all the representatives on Twitter, call them, mail them, social media, tag them, and let them know, do not repeal Section 230, because if they did, your YouTube channel's over, bro. Your live stream is over. Reddit is over. Without that law, these companies are donezo. So we can't get rid of it entirely. That's the only thing keeping them alive. So reforming it is the path here. So anything about completely eliminating it is super scary. I lose my job. Perrin loses his job. Ross loses his job. All of y'all potentially lose all your channels and everything, and the internet completely implodes and becomes something tiny in comparison to what it is today. That is the nightmare scenario. So what Trump is suggesting, that's crazy, bro. I'm not going for that. But reforming it, perhaps. Gaming creators, really quick, before you do anything else, enter to win our Gaming Creator Bundle sweepstakes, $1,100 in gear. We're giving away for $0. Link in the description below. It includes this exact audio setup you hear me on right now. It's the one we use on the podcast every single day. If you want to sound this good, this is live, by the way. This is not an edited video. This is the way it actually sounds. Let me just show you the bundle. It's freaking amazing. The bundle includes this microphone, shock mount, and boom arm. Plus, it includes the Rodecaster Pro mixer, which is arguably the best creator mixer on the market. Plus, our friends at TubeBuddy threw in a TubeBuddy Legend license if you want to help grow that YouTube channel faster. Plus, our friends over at Restream threw in a Restream license if you want to stream to multiple platforms at the same time and grow your stream faster. Rode hookup, TubeBuddy hookup, Restream hookup. They all just wanted to give you guys gear to help you succeed and software to help you succeed for free. So here you go. Link in the description below. Enter for your chance to win. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you guys can maybe pick this package up and increase your quality and increase your chances of growing faster with the tools and gear that we use every single day to grow, and hopefully you can use to grow as well. Link below, go do it. Thank you.